I talk a lot about all things digital products on this channel, but I realize that there are people who are all the time just jumping into the world of selling digital products for the very first time and who might need a very foundational overview for beginners. So that's exactly what we're doing today. I'm going over how to sell digital products online from square one and the top 5 most important steps you'll need to take to get your digital products business off the ground. Now, before we dive in, I have something for you that I know is going to be super helpful as you're just getting started on your digital products journey, and that is my free 45-minute long digital product powerhouse masterclass. I wanted something where I could go a little bit deeper than just a short YouTube video and really take a deep dive into the nitty-gritty of digital products to help you have a really comprehensive understanding of what you'll need to get started and how to level up and grow as you go. This is an on-demand training class, so you can click the link in the description box below after you finish watching this video and learn everything you need to know, including information about different file types, softwares, and tools that you can use in your digital creation process, lots of different ideas for different types of digital products you could sell online, and so much more. It's completely free to you, and I know it'll set you up really well from the very beginning, so don't forget to click the link below to jump over and watch that when you're done here. All right, enough talk, let's dive in. Okay, so step number 1 when you're wanting to start selling digital products online is that you need to decide on your product type. Within the world of digital products, there's a wide range of different categories you can sell products in. So let's talk about a few of the main ones. A huge digital product category that is really in demand is printables. This category includes any type of digital product that's meant to be printed out and actually used physically or tangibly. So this could include a lot of different things, everything from printable planners, ebooks, guides, checklists, worksheets. You could sell printable posters or party decor, and maybe even something like a cookbook. More and more people are loving being able to purchase and just instantly download and print out something that they can use right then. So for this reason, printables are becoming more and more popular, as well as templates. So our second sort of category here are templates that can be used by the buyer within a software like Canva or Template. Buyers of digital products a lot of times just don't want to start from scratch. Maybe it's something that they could create on their own, but they're wanting to purchase a template to save time, to save effort, to be able to just plug and play whatever they need. So this could be a template for something like a wedding or an event or a party invitation. If you're selling to business owners, this could look like templates for slide deck presentations or a business logo. You could also sell templates for social media posts. So you could sell Instagram post or story templates. So in this category, you are digitally creating the template within whatever software you decide, and then your buyer is actually purchasing the access to that template, and they're going to go in, change around the fonts, the colors, the wording, whatever you make available for them to change, and then either use it digitally if it's something like a slide deck presentation, or print it out if it's something that's meant to be printed like a wedding invitation. All right, in addition to printables and templates, you could also sell video or audio files. Most of the time, this is going to be some sort of educational resource that you're selling. So something like a course or a mini course, a mini podcast, a masterclass, something that you're actually providing some training on and then selling that as a digital file or a digital product. And fourthly, here you can sell tools or resources for others who are actually creating digitally as well. You could be creating graphic elements or backgrounds or patterns to sell, or some more advanced things like creating unique fonts that you would sell, or tools like Procreate brushes. Some of these get pretty advanced in terms of knowing how to actually create these, but I did want to throw them in there in case you're interested in learning how to create those. Those are also digital products that you can sell. Now, if you're like, I love all of these ideas, I really have no clue how to narrow it down and pick one specific thing to focus on, I've got you covered, friend. I think it's probably hard for all of us in the very beginning to figure out what the best type of digital product and the best fit for our unique business is. So I have a couple questions that I'd encourage you to ask yourself if you're trying to decide what type is best for you. Number 1, is there a topic or a niche that you're already very interested in? Number 2, think of your target or ideal customer and who you're trying to serve. And think about, out of all of these different options for digital products, what would best serve them and what would be most appealing to them to provide the most help for things that they're looking for. And thirdly, what kind of profit margin are you looking for? When we're selling digital products, there's a wide range of different price points and profit margins depending on the type of product you're offering. So you might want to do a little bit of research. If you've narrowed it down to, let's say, 2 or 3 and you're not really sure which is the right one, do a little bit of research online. Etsy is a great place to do this kind of research, to look up listings that are similar to the type of products that you're thinking of offering and get an idea of what sort of ballpark range most of the price points within that niche are. And you can figure out what type of profit margin margin you might have around that price point by thinking of the things that you're going to have as costs, maybe tools or softwares that you're using. So your profit is going to be the amount that you're able to keep from that sale price once you remove costs for any materials, supplies, tools, software, or labor that you might have to pay for. Now, one crucial tip here before we move on to step 2 is that it is so important, especially in the very beginning, to get some quick traction and momentum in your shop, to get specific and focus in on either one product type or one target customer. The last thing we want here is to have a product shop that is full of just random things that makes no sense when somebody lands on your shop page. This just causes confusion and it doesn't position you as the expert in your field. You want to be seen as the specialist in whatever you're offering because that's going to instill instant trust and credibility with your buyer. So if you pick one specific type of digital products, let's say you're going to be a template shop, or you focus on one specific target customer, like you're going to provide digital products for homeschool moms. Either one of those routes is going to give you enough specific focus and niche focus to position yourself as the expert, build trust and credibility from the very beginning, and be able to not spread yourself so thin that you're not doing anything well. If you focus in on one of those, you can always branch out later, but that's going to get you quicker momentum in the very beginning. Okay, let's move on to step number 2 here, which is to determine your file properties. This is specifically referring to what file type and the sizing that you'll need to offer. So let's talk about file types first. This can get really complicated and start to sound really technical, but don't get intimidated, don't get scared off. Stay with me here because we're going to make it as simple as possible. When you're offering digital products online, there are some very common file types that are the most popular ones that you're most likely going to be offering your digital product as. You can also think of file type as the extension that's on the file. So when you open a digital file, you'll see the name of the file, and at the end of that name, you'll see a dot something. So it might say .jpg or .pdf. This is telling you what type of file this is. So you'll need to know as the seller what type of file is appropriate for the kind of digital product you're selling. Now, when we talk about these top file types, we're thinking of specifically 2 categories here, raster and vector. Raster file types are pixel-based, which means the actual design of the file is made up of those little tiny squares of color that you can see when you zoom in really close. A vector file, on the other hand, is not made up of pixels, but is made on a point-based system, so it makes it a little bit different. The main difference that I want you to remember here is that raster files, or the pixel-based files, usually can't be scaled very large without losing quality. When those type of files are scaled larger, let's say you were trying to scale a raster photo for something huge like a billboard, it would definitely lose quality and it would appear grainy and pixelated. But vector files, which are on that point-based system, can be scaled large without losing any quality. So the 2 most common types of raster files that we see sold with digital products online would be JPG and PNG. These are both fairly small file size types, so they can be uploaded quickly. JPG generally is the smallest and easiest and quickest to use, but because it is the smallest file size, it's also going to be the lowest quality. JPG or JPEG files are really great for actual photographic images because they do really well with complex coloring, whereas PNG files are more commonly used for more simple things like lines, shapes, icons, and they do really well for files that need to be layered on top of another file inside of a graphic design because they can support a transparent background. So if you need to download something with a clear background, you don't want it to have a white background or any other color, you want it to be clear so you can actually take that image and put it on top of something, maybe like a mock-up image, you're going to want to download that as a transparent PNG file. Now let's talk about the 2 most common vector files. This would be PDF and SVG. PDF files are a larger size and provide better quality, but they are still really versatile, which is nice because they can be opened by most operating systems. PDFs are most commonly used for multi-page documents. So if you're creating something like an ebook or a workbook, you would probably be downloading that as a PDF file. Now, SVG is our other file type that can support transparency, just like the PNG. SVG can do that as well. And SVGs are commonly used for animated elements, as well as projects for cutting machines like Cricut and Silhouette. Now, in addition to these 4 top file types for digital products, I'm throwing in an extra 5th one here because you may be interested in selling something like we talked about, a video or audio file as an educational resource. So in this case, if you're wanting to offer, let's say, a video course or mini course or masterclass, you would be downloading that video either as an MP4 or a .mov file. Okay, so that's about the file types. Now let's quickly talk about sizing. When you're creating a digital product, it's most likely going to be sized in pixels or inches. So like we talked about before, those pixels are the little squares of color that make up our raster file types. So let's say you're using a tool like Canva. You would go on to create your project and you have the option to create whatever size you want, either in pixels, inches, centimeters. There's several different options, but we're focusing primarily right now on pixels and inches. Pixels are mainly going to be what you're going to use if you're creating something that's meant for digital use. So like I said before, I could create a set of templates that are meant to be used for Instagram posts. I know that the square Instagram post size is 1080 by 1080 pixels. So if I wanted to start creating that project in Canva, I could go on and just enter as a custom size 1080 by 1080 pixels. Now, the nice thing about Canva is that if it's something that's commonly created, like an Instagram post, they have preset sizes. So that makes it even easier. You don't even have to think about what size you might need. You can just search for Instagram post. But if it's something that Canva doesn't have as a preset size, you can definitely create your own custom size and choose if you want pixels or inches. Now, that's for a digital use product, something that's not meant to be printed out ever, right? An Instagram post is never going to be printed out. Whereas maybe I'm offering a template for a printable greeting card, which is meant to be printed out. In that case, I'd most likely be creating my project with inches. So I want to do a little bit of research, maybe on a platform like Etsy, of some similar products and see what most of them are being sold as. Or maybe it's a bundle of several different sizes that I might want to sell. For my greeting card, I could offer a 4x6 option and a 5x7 option. But it's a great idea to go ahead and do some research ahead of time so that you know what the most common sizes are for the specific type of digital product you're thinking of selling. Now, I know thinking about all this techie stuff like file types and sizing, even aspect ratio, can be really overwhelming. And that's why I created a digital product starter guide that I want to give to you as a free gift just to help you as you get started on this journey, because I know how frustrated I was when I started learning about all of this. It can be really confusing. So I have a free downloadable starter guide linked in the description box below that you can grab after you're done watching this video. Download that. It's going to give you everything you need to know about digital products, as well as a whole sizing and aspect ratios chart. So specifically, if you're thinking of offering printable products, you'll need to know what sizes fit underneath different aspect ratios and how to offer those as bundles to your customer. Now, once you've decided what type of digital product you want to sell, and now you've got a good idea of the sizing and file type that you'll need to offer, we're going to move on to step number 3, which is figuring out what tool or software you'll need to use to create it. There are a ton of different options out there when it comes to the actual design tool you're going to be using to create your digital products. Some are free, some are paid, but like I said before, my absolute favorite out of all the options is Canva, because you can do it for free and then you can upgrade to Canva Pro, which is a monthly fee, but it's still very affordable for everything you get. And I find it to be the most beginner friendly out of all the options I've tried. It doesn't have much of a learning curve and you can get used to it pretty easily and quickly. So I definitely recommend Canva. I've got a link below. If you're interested in trying out Canva Pro free for 30 days, you can grab that. But in addition to Canva, you could also consider some other softwares. The Adobe suite is sort of seen as the industry standard and the most professional out of the options. So you've got Adobe Illustrator, which is most commonly used for creating vector files, things like graphics, icons, patterns, SVGs. And then you've got Adobe Photoshop, which is the raster side of that. So if you're working with actual photographic images, you would want to go with that. And thirdly, we've got Adobe InDesign, which is mostly used for creating documents and digital products like maybe a digital planner. Now, those all do cost a little bit, so you'll have to have a little bit of a budget to use those, but there's also some free open source options, which means it's free for everyone. It's web-based. So one of these is Inkscape, which is sort of seen as the free counterpart to Adobe Illustrator. So you would use Inkscape for vector files. Then there's a free tool called GIMP, which is sort of seen as the free counterpart to Photoshop. We've got tools like Affinity Designer. You could use the iPad app Procreate. And then of course, if you're thinking something more along the lines of educational resources or courses, those are going to be in video form. So you're going to need to think about some editing software to edit your videos. This could be anything from the free iMovie to something paid and more robust like Final Cut Pro. So before you can really decide which is the best fit for you, you'll need to consider number 1, your budget. Can you at this point in your journey afford to pay for something, or do you need to really be using something that's free? And then also the needs for the type of file that you're wanting to create. Then you'll want to just do a little bit of research to compare and contrast the ones that you're thinking of to narrow it down and figure out which of those tools offers the capability to create the type of file that you need and works with your budget. All right, so after you decide which tool you're going to be using, we're going to move on to step number 4, which is figuring out where to source your graphic elements from. So when I say graphic elements, I'm meaning anything that you're using in your graphic designs, from icons to shapes to actual photos, maybe patterns or textures or backgrounds. There are all different types of graphic elements, so you'll need to think about about what types of designs you're wanting to create and where you're going to get access to those elements you need. Now, if you're using a tool like Canva, for instance, you'll already have access to Canva's whole library of graphics, photos, videos, everything they have within their platform that you can use when you have a Canva plan. There are other tools that may not have a library like this, so you're going to have to source your elements that you need somewhere else on a third-party website and then upload those into your creation tool or software. Some of my favorite websites that provide these that you can look at are Creative Market, Creative Fabrica, Elevate Visuals, Adobe Stock, and Unsplash. Now, this is basically where you are licensing these assets. So you're going to pay to purchase the assets that you need with the license that you need that gives you the rights to use it in the intended way. So most of the time, there's going to be some sort of variation of a personal license and a commercial license offered, sometimes even something larger like an extended commercial. Now, they may be called different things. It's up to you to do your research. Depending on the platform you're looking at purchasing these from, they may have different names, but essentially you want to make sure you're purchasing and licensing these elements with the correct license, which is at least a commercial license that gives you rights to use these in designs to sell. You want to definitely read through these licenses to make sure you know what you're allowed to do with these assets before you use them. So let's say, for instance, you're looking on Creative Market for a bundle of tree graphics. You're going to choose the license you want, purchase the bundle, and then download it, and then you're going to bring it over and you'll be able to upload it then into, let's say, a program like Adobe Illustrator if that's what you're working with. Some of these websites allow you to do just a one-time purchase, like for instance, I could just purchase that one bundle of trees, or if I'm finding that I'm purchasing a lot of these from the same website over and over again, some of them offer memberships where I can just pay a monthly fee and have access to a lot of different things on the website as opposed to paying for each thing individually. Again, another reason why I love Canva is because Canva includes a library of millions of assets that you can use on both the free and paid plans. So if you're on the paid Canva Pro plan, you're going to have access to more of those assets, which is their pro content. But even on the free plan, there's so much that you can use there within their library. So you're not having to source things and bring it in, although you can. There is an upload feature on Canva if you're interested in that. But if you don't want to do that, you really never have to go outside of Canva to source anything else. So it's up to you to really think through what types of icons, shapes, photos, all those different types of elements you might need to be using in your designs and where you're going to get those from. All right, now it's time to move on to step number 5, which is to decide on your sales channel. This is also called a sales platform, and this is basically just wherever you're going to set up shop and actually get your listings published and out into the world for sale. So the two main options here are you could either sell on your own website with a tool like Shopify, Wix, Squarespace. There are a lot of different e-commerce options for building your own website and shop, or you could sell as part of a marketplace platform like Etsy, Amazon, or Creative Market. The main difference here is that with your own website, it's just that. It's your own website. You can fully customize it. You can make it how you want it, but it's not part of a larger platform that's going to organically send traffic your way like a marketplace. So if you're part of a marketplace like Etsy or Amazon, you don't get quite as much customization. All the shops pretty much look generally the same, but the benefit here is that you're going to be able to have traffic discover you more quickly because there are people just already on Etsy and Amazon searching for things, and the only results they're going to get when they're on that marketplace website searching are the results from the shops that are part of that marketplace. Now, you are going to have to pay one way or another to be able to have your own website or be part of a marketplace. Most likely, you're either going to be paying transaction fees. So with a platform like Etsy, you're going to have to be paying certain transaction fees each time you make a sale, which is different than maybe using a tool like Shopify, where you're not paying transaction fees per sale, but you're paying a flat monthly rate to use that service. So you'll just have to look at all of these different elements of both the pros and cons and see what is the best fit for your business. And I'd recommend just choosing one and starting with it. My recommendation if you're just starting out would be to choose a marketplace like Etsy, because I feel like marketplaces are going to give you the best chance for the quickest traction to get discovered and found easier. But then once you've gotten some sales under your belt, you can always expand out later to a second platform and have sales coming in from both. Like I mentioned, my favorite marketplace to sell digital products on is Etsy, and my favorite option for having your own digital products website is Shopify. I do have my affiliate link for Shopify below. If you're interested in trying it out, you can try it totally for free, and then you can get your first month for just $1. So again, you'll just want to consider your budget that's available as well as your needs for your business and your long-term goals to decide which of these routes would be best for you to go in the beginning. Now, one thing you definitely don't want to forget as part of this step, once you've got your listings published, you've got your shop set up, is to market. You need to be proactive in getting getting the word out about your shop, whether that's on a social media platform or by building an email list, or maybe even doing something fun like a blog or a podcast or YouTube channel, anything you can do to get the word out into the world about your shop and let people know you have amazing offers for sale is going to help you reach your goals so much faster. So those are the top 5 steps to get started with your digital product business. Don't forget to click the links in the description box below for my free 45-minute deep dive digital products masterclass, as well as my free digital product starter guide that's going to give you all the information you need to know, including that sizing and aspect ratios chart. And I can't wait to see where you go with your digital products business. Happy selling!